You're not at the end, you're just beginning. If you've passed the age of 60 and wake up feeling less energetic, less sensitive, or almost disconnected from intimacy, the cause might not be just aging. It could be a silent signal of impaired circulation, tiny blood vessels in your body, especially in intimate areas, gradually becoming clogged, quietly shutting down one of the most vital sources of masculine vitality. I'm Dr. James, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience. Throughout my journey, I've walked alongside thousands of men over 60, helping them reclaim confidence, restore connection, and rediscover joy in their intimate lives in a natural and safe way. Here's a truth not many people will tell you. Pills can't reverse what years of poor circulation have quietly damaged. But nature can, if you know how to listen and choose wisely. In today's conversation, I'll introduce you to 4 familiar yet powerful herbs, all scientifically studied and traditionally used to support circulation, increase sensitivity, and improve male vitality in a natural, sustainable way. This isn't a quick fix. It's a foundation for restoring your sense of control, intimacy, and dignity, no matter your age. Before we begin, if you're seeking honest, science-based conversations tailored for men over 60, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. It ensures you never miss out on essential insights and affirms your commitment to living fully at every stage of life. If this topic resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If you have a suggestion or question, type 0. I always welcome your thoughts. Now let's begin with the first herb, a key that may gently unlock what your body has been quietly yearning for. 1. Ginseng, the key to reviving blood flow and desire. Over 3 decades of working with older men, I've heard one quiet question spoken many times. Doctor, am I still myself? That question isn't about titles, strength, or success. It comes from a deeper place, a whisper of doubt when the body no longer responds the way it once did. When desire falls silent, when sensations fade, when every morning feels like something inside has gone quiet, and every time I place a hand on their shoulder and say, "Your body hasn't betrayed you, it's simply waiting for you to return, to listen, and to help it come alive again." And in that journey, ginseng is one of the most reliable companions. Known in traditional Eastern medicine as the root of vitality, ginseng has long been a symbol of enduring male strength. But modern science has now validated its ability to increase nitric oxide production, a compound that relaxes blood vessels and promotes circulation, especially in the tiniest, most delicate areas of the male body. In other words, ginseng is not a stimulant like the little blue pill. It's a gentle key, quietly reopening the pathways time has slowly closed. I remember a patient, Walter, age 68, a retired man, married for over 40 years. He didn't come in for illness. He simply said, "I still love my wife, but I feel like I can't reach her anymore." I prescribed him a simple regimen, 600 milligrams of Korean red ginseng every morning, along with daily breathing exercises and light walking. 3 weeks later, his eyes were brighter. He looked at me and said, "I feel alive again, not just with her, but with myself." The real magic wasn't in the erection. It was in the return, to sensation, to connection, to confidence once thought lost. But let me be clear, not all ginseng is effective. Many over-the-counter products are just labels without the true bioactive power. If you choose to try it, look for standardized red Panax ginseng with at least 5% ginsenosides and use it consistently, not for an overnight fix, but to feel the gradual return of vitality day by day. Because blood flow, emotion, and connection don't come back with speed. They return through gentleness, rhythm, and sincerity. And if ginseng is the first spark that rekindles the current of life within you, then the next herb is the one that keeps that fire burning, naturally, sustainably, and without a single synthetic pill. 2. Horny goatweed. Not a joke, but a forgotten treasure for blood flow. There's hardly another herb that makes men chuckle the way horny goatweed does. It sounds like something out of a folktale, or perhaps an inside joke shared over tea among older gentlemen. But after more than 30 years working in men's health, I can say with confidence, This isn't a punchline. It's a forgotten treasure. Its scientific name is epimedium, and it contains a powerful active compound called icariin, proven to inhibit the enzyme PDE5, the very same enzyme targeted by popular medications like Viagra. But here's the key difference. Horny goatweed doesn't force a reaction. Instead, it reminds your body how to respond, like a forgotten melody being played gently again on old strings. For men in their 60s and 70s, where circulation slows and the blood vessels in the pelvic region narrow and stiffen, restoring elasticity and blood flow in these capillaries is vital to reclaiming connection with yourself and your partner. I still remember Mr. Glenn, 72, a retired construction worker who said to me, with a low, earnest voice, "Doctor, I don't need to make love like I'm 30 again. I just want to feel like I'm still part of something with my wife. A warm hug, a gentle touch, a moment of closeness. But I don't feel anything." We began with a small daily dose, 250 milligrams of horny goatweed, standardized to at least 10% icariin. Nothing miraculous happened in the first week, but by the third week, there was a brightness in Glenn's eyes. He told me, "I'm not a young man again, but I feel closer to my wife, like something quietly returned." That's exactly what horny goatweed is about. Not igniting flames, but breathing warmth back into embers you thought had gone cold. This herb not only increases blood flow to the pelvic region, but it also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and gently supports testosterone production. That's especially helpful for men under the quiet weight of aging, a fading sense of control, or emotional distance from their partner. Like ginseng, patience is the key. Horny goatweed isn't a one-night solution. Take it daily for 4 to 6 weeks, and you'll begin to notice subtle changes. Deeper sleep, clearer thoughts, and affection knocking gently at your heart again. If ginseng rekindles the spark of circulation and horny goatweed helps keep that flame alive, then the next herb, ginkgo biloba, quietly clears the path to the deepest capillaries where real sensation and true connection begin. 3. Ginkgo biloba, the quiet road builder for restoring sensation. When people hear ginkgo biloba, they often think of memory, and rightly so. It's famous for supporting brain circulation, focus, and slowing cognitive decline. But what few know is that ginkgo also restores blood flow to the places where emotional and sensual life begins, including the genital region. This is one of the greatest secrets I share with my patients. Men in their 70s who no longer feel pleasure during intimacy, who feel no spark, and often live in a marriage filled with unspoken silence. The truth is, the tiny capillaries in your intimate areas, those responsible for receiving sensation and initiating response, are the first to be affected by aging. A little plaque, a bit of stiffening, or just slowed circulation over time, and suddenly it's like trying to tune into a radio station that no longer has a signal. So what does ginkgo do? It acts like a road repair crew, clearing tiny blockages, smoothing vessel walls, and allowing blood to flow again to corners of the body that modern medicine often can't reach. I recall a man named Martin, 70, a former Navy officer. When he walked into my office, he said something that struck me deeply. "Doctor, I don't feel alive anymore. I'm healthy, I walk every day, I eat right, but I feel nothing, not even when I'm with my wife." We started him on 120 milligrams of ginkgo biloba daily, split into morning and evening doses. I told him to stay consistent and not to expect results overnight. 6 weeks later, he returned. His face no longer carried the same weight, and his voice was lighter. "I can't explain it, doctor, but I feel like I'm back." That wasn't magic. That was blood returning, oxygen reaching forgotten places, emotions slowly waking up in the quiet. Beyond improving circulation, ginkgo reduces inflammation in blood vessels, brings more oxygen to tissues, and helps restore the ability to feel, physically and emotionally. Not every man needs something powerful. Sometimes it's the gentle, steady nourishment that opens the door again, reminding your body how to feel, how to love, and how to touch others with authenticity. And once ginkgo has cleared the pathways, it's time for a signal from the center, your hormonal system. That's where the fourth herb comes in, Tribulus terrestris, the quiet awakener of masculine identity. 4. Tribulus terrestris, the herb that awakens a man's inner identity. There's something most men over 60 feel, but rarely admit out loud. I no longer feel like myself. It's not because they're weaker, it's not because they've stopped loving, but because deep inside, a fire is quietly dimming. The aliveness, the eagerness to touch and be touched, the hunger to connect, it starts to fade. And sadly, many believe it's just part of aging. I often look them in the eye and say, no, this is not a rule of nature. It's a whisper from your body asking for help. And Tribulus is one of nature's gentlest, most profound answers. Tribulus terrestris, also known as puncture vine, has been used for centuries in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. But only in recent decades has modern science begun to uncover its deeper truth. It doesn't replace your body's function. It helps your body remember how to function on its own. Specifically, Tribulus doesn't supply testosterone. It stimulates the pituitary gland, which in turn signals the testes to produce testosterone naturally again. In other words, it doesn't force, it awakens. For men in their 70s, this is significant, because at that age, hormonal changes aren't just about being low, they're about being quiet. And in that quietness, many things fade. Motivation, desire, confidence. I remember Richard, 74 years old, a man who had spent his entire life devoted to responsibility. After his wife passed away, he closed his heart. But then, he met someone new. Feelings stirred again, but his body didn't follow. He told me, "Doctor, I really want to, but I don't know if I can anymore." I prescribed him 500 milligrams of standardized Tribulus daily with at least 45% saponins, the key active compound. And I said, let your body speak. Don't force it to answer before it's ready. 6 weeks later, he returned smiling softly. I didn't become young again, but I feel alive again. That is what Tribulus is about. Not to make you young, but to help you fully live the age you're in. No more foggy days. No more quiet doubt every time intimacy arises. Just a feeling of coming home, to yourself. Tribulus also helps increase blood flow in the pelvic region, supports heart rhythm, enhances energy, and most importantly, revives natural desire. Not with artificial spikes, but with a steady, nourishing return of life from within. And now that you've discovered these 4 healing herbs, each with its own sacred task, ginseng to awaken the engine, horny goatweed to fuel blood flow, ginkgo biloba to clear tiny passageways, Tribulus to restore the inner spark. It's time to gather them together and remember one simple, powerful truth. You are not past your prime. You're not finished. You're just getting started. If you've read this far, I want to pause and say thank you. Thank you for not turning away from a topic many men avoid. Thank you for not assuming aging means decline, disconnection, or resignation. But most of all, thank you for being brave enough to listen to your body again, honestly, gently. Together we've explored 4 humble gifts from nature, not flashy, not gimmicky, and certainly not made to help you prove yourself, but to remind you that you are still worthy, still vibrant, and still capable of love. Perhaps now more deeply than ever before. You don't need to be 30 again. You don't need to perform like you used to. What you need is to feel present, connected, and authentic with the one you love and with yourself. Intimacy after 60 is no longer about performance. It's about presence. Not about proving, but about sharing, listening, and healing together. If you've been wondering, should I try again? Can I feel something again? Could these coming years still be warm and fulfilling? Then the answer is yes, because you are not done. You are simply beginning again, in a wiser, steadier, more human way. And if this message touched something inside you, even a little, I hope you won't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, with a brother, with any man walking silently through his own unspoken aches. Help open a door. Help start a conversation. Help another man live fully again. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the insights and stories crafted just for you. A man who's entering the richest chapter of his life. And if you're still here, please leave a comment. I'm not finished, so I'll know you're still with me, still listening, still choosing to live, with everything real and everything that still matters.